This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Bustin' with the Boys is here to let you know that every college football Saturday, FanDuel is dropping profit boosts that can turn wins into bigger wins.
Sounds like we should rename Saturday Booster Day.
Nice.
21 plus and present in select states. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now let's start this off right. You are a slave. You don't realize it yet, but you will, eventually. I'm your master, and the lady is your mistress. You will be totally docile. You will be very quiet, and you'll speak only when spoken to. Never initiate conversation. Keep your mouth shut. Remember that we're in the dungeon game, and as long as you are here, it's the only game in town. The only game in town. The only game in town. The only game in town.
Welcome to another episode of Fringe
Beyond Limits.
How was
On a
that?
scale of 1 to 10, how better do you feel?
Oh, a 10.
That was a
Is it
shell
always a
of breath.
10?
Yeah. When you sigh like that and you get all the yuckiness of the day out of you, oh,
It makes me lightheaded when I sigh like that.
that does not surprise me.
It has to be a natural sigh. I can't force it.
Okay. I'm getting to know you a little bit more personally, and I don't like what I hear. So, how's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Tired. Been busy.
Yeah. What have you been doing?
It's just stuff at work. We have a couple big events and stuff that I'm helping plan. So I've been doing that and just tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what kind of events are you planning?
I got a big meeting that's like a 2-day long meeting from everyone from like our like sister companies, parent companies and everything all around.
Mm-hmm.
But they're coming in. And then next week we have a memorial service for someone who passed away last year at our work. So I'm helping plan that.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Was it a sudden loss?
It was.
Mm.
She ended up having heart complications while at work. Got
Mm,
rushed to the emergency room and unfortunately didn't make it.
that's sad. Well, thoughts and prayers.
So, but
Yeah.
we're remembering her. We have like a new break room outside that we made, not break room, like a little outdoorsy area in our work. Last year we made that. So this year we are adding more to it, and to in honor of her memory, we're putting a plaque underneath the tree that we planted there.
Very nice.
And we're gonna have a taco truck.
Very nice.
Dude, taco trucks are the shit.
Taco trucks are the adult version of the kids' candy van that you're not supposed to go to.
Dude, I would get abducted yesterday.
Yeah. If there was a taco truck that said free tacos, you know every single adult's going to be like, free tacos!
Mm,
Heck yeah.
yeah. What would you guys do for free tacos?
That's a good question.
An ice bucket challenge.
You would do that just because.
Oh, it's really hot down here, so.
See, exactly.
What would you do for a
For free tacos?
For free tacos.
I would probably jerk someone off.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how much
Any
I
particular
person.
barbacoa or shrimp or
So shrimp, chicken, and the place in Yorkville. What's it called? Where do we go, Ray?
Oh, you're gonna make me.
La Hacienda Real? Yeah.
Sounds.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's a chain. There's one in Geneva too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well, there's only 2.
That's the other one. Yeah.
But they're,
Oh, there's okay.
yeah, their whitefish tacos were excellent.
Yeah, I've had those. Those are really good.
Yeah.
I
need
just
to try
can't get
that
over
next
the punches while you're trying to eat food. It's like a nightclub in there.
Yeah, no, it is.
Had a mojito margarita. It was so good, and there was like smoke coming out of it. It was amazing.
Did it come out with like bottle service in the sparklers?
No.
Sometimes I do that.
I shot
order a bottle.
That would make it even better.
I shot a bottle rocket out of my ass.
No, you didn't.
I did not. But I've seen those videos. It's so disturbing.
Like that just sounds like fetish porn.
Well, I mean, maybe, like when there was one where the bottle rocket didn't leave, so it just like was stuck in his ass. So it was burning his cheek. So good.
I don't feel bad for that person. I feel bad for the camera person.
Agreed. All right. So, Lynette, how are you? You said you were hot.
Glad that we're done with this topic.
Yeah, I'm done with it. We move on.
I saw the deer in my backyard has 2 baby deers.
Oh.
Oh.
So
Okay.
that made my day. I've been seeing little bebes running around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's the adventures of my life these days.
Okay.
Did you see Bigfoot yet?
No, I keep looking. But here's the thing, like I don't think I should try and take a photo of Bigfoot because if it goes public, like people are going to try and hunt Bigfoot and I don't want people to hunt Bigfoot.
You can just show us.
Okay.
Would you invite him in for dinner?
I guess it would depend on how the initial interaction goes. Like if Bigfoot was like attacking my dogs, I'd probably go chase it and try and punch it and get my dog back.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was just standing there and I waved and it waved back, then I'd be like, do you like tacos? Free tacos.
Okay. All right. What if he... All right, so he comes through the forest line onto your property and he's just walking around, not doing anything, but you notice that he has just a huge erection. What's your first thought?
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Your butthole?
Bree's got a question in
Yeah.
the back.
Yeah, go ahead.
It reminds me of the podcast we listened to on their way to the Beatty Mansion.
Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were reading us like stories from was it called? They would call it crypto erotica.
Yeah, they did a whole
And-
episode on just cryptic erotica that they found
There's one
online.
on Bigfoot, and apparently the girl was like he had a hairy dick. It's very hairy.
That's gross. Why
Yeah.
is that a thing?
I don't know. I don't know. But there's been several podcasts that I listen to where they do like just erotic stories. And there's aliens. I mean, there's so many. And it's just, how does someone think of it? That's my question. Like, I got a pretty fucked up head. And I don't even think of this.
I always wonder that. It's like, what's going through their head that they're like, oh, I'm going to make this sound like, I don't even want to know, like, is that their actual fantasy, or are they just literally just coming up with it for the book?
I don't know.
I'm just grateful this is such a mature podcast and we haven't done the topic like that.
Yeah, no.
Sweet.
No, we are high
Sweet.
class.
Oh, I'm sick that day.
We're very high class and highbrow. That stuff is beneath us.
Hey, Lynette, little did you know, that's what we're talking about today.
No, lovely.
Like, you have no idea.
I think I have leprosy. I gotta go.
Leprosy.
That sounds serious.
So go get it checked out. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you should probably do that. We'll wait. All right. Well, we got your dumb ways to die, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Okay.
All right. So mine took place July 19th, 2010 in the state of Washington. So during the American Sprint Car Series in Sedro-Woolley, Washington, two crew members were working at a custom machine shop when they decided to make things a bit more interesting. The men put a 55-gallon barrel in the parking lot, poured in 4 gallons of methanol, sat on top of the barrel, and lit it. They thought the barrel would skid across the parking lot like a rocket. The barrel blew up beneath them at enough force that the end of the barrel landed 120 feet away. The two landed in Harbor View Medical Center in Seattle, where one of the two lost their lives. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Let's put methanol in a barrel and lit it up and sit on it.
yeah, nothing will happen. I can suppress the explosion that's going to happen under my ass. Yeah. I'll go next. So, this says a good family friend died by choking on a non-inflated balloon. She was elderly and trying to blow up balloons for a baby shower. It was ironic because she worked as a clown for over 10 years when she was young. I thought it was a joke when I first heard what happened. So she inhaled it probably on accident and choked on it.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So, that's not the way you're supposed to use.
Safety in clown college?
I don't think that's a proper way to use a rubber. All right, Miss Lynette.
All right, yeah. So my story is about Thomas Megley Jr. He was a brilliant inventor and possibly the most accidentally destructive man in history. So he's the one who helped study and gave us leaded gasoline and CFCs, solving for engine knocking and refrigeration issues while also poisoning the atmosphere. We're just going to add that. But essentially, talk today.
Yeah.
But essentially what he... Oh, my screen froze. Sorry. So,
Good job.
Yeah. So Megley also contracted polio at a young age, but as he was aging, he built a rope and pulley system to help him get in and out of bed. And in 1944, he became entangled in this device and died from strangulation. So he literally...
Wow.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
All right. This is happy time. I love it.
It's like, you're a genius and you can invent leaded gasoline and CFCs. Oh, my Alexa's talking to me. I'm not talking to you.
That's awesome.
Speaking of stupid technology.
Yeah, right?
So, yeah.
All right. Well, now that we got that out of the way, what are we talking about this evening?
The very gruesome toy box killer.
Ooh. The toy box
Not
killer.
as nice as it sounds.
No? All right.
Like I said, very gruesome.
So So I am going to give a warning on this. The episode does contain heavy content that might be triggering to some. The story of the toy box killer involves offensive and deviant sexual acts and practices, predation, and violence against women, including rape and torture. So please listen at your own risk. Just let's get that out of the way before all of our 8-year-old listeners know what's going on.
Yeah. Go to bed. Turn this off. Go to bed.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So today we descend into one of the darkest corners of human depravity, where nightmares are real, screams echo, unheard, and monsters walk among us disguised as neighbors. Prepare yourself as we unravel the harrowing story of David Parker Ray, the notorious toy box killer. Inside an unassuming trailer parked deep in the isolated desert town of Elephant Butte, New Mexico, unimaginable horrors unfolded behind locked doors. Victims awoke bound and helpless, subjected to psychological torment, a bone-chilling recording calmly detailing their impending torture. This was the toy box, a twisted playground meticulously designed for human suffering, stocked with instruments of sadistic torture and operated by a man whose appetite for pain knew no bounds. So tonight we'll guide you through the sinister life of David Parker Ray, delve deep into the terrifying ordeals of his captives, and reveal how an astonishing act of courage brought an end to this reign of terror. But beware, this episode isn't for the faint of heart. Listener discretion is strongly advised as we unlock the dark secrets of the Toy Box Killer. David Parker Ray, later known as the Toy Box Killer, was born November 6, 1939, in the modest town of Belen, New Mexico. His birth marked the beginning of a troubled existence, overshadowed by instability, neglect, and emotional pain. Ray's early years were plagued by turmoil, starting with his parents' tumultuous relationship, and eventually abandonment. At a tender age, Ray found himself thrust into the care of his grandfather, an authoritarian figure whose disciplinary methods frequently crossed into severe cruelty. Life under his grandfather's roof was unforgiving. Young David was routinely subjected to harsh physical punishments, instilling in him an intense fear coupled with profound feelings of isolation. Without a nurturing presence, Ray sought solace in his imagination, a sanctuary that soon became distorted by his early exposure to graphic what's that word? Anyone? Masochist. Yes, pornography. Jesus. Hidden magazines depicting violent sexual acts became his secret refuge, profoundly influencing his psychological development and embedding twisted fantasies deeply into his subconscious. David's school years offered little reprieve from his troubled home life. His quiet nature and introverted personality set him apart from his peers, making him an easy target for relentless bullying and ridicule. Classmates ostracized him, deepening his sense of loneliness and alienation. The constant rejection and humiliation left emotional scars, cultivating a simmering rage beneath his passive exterior. As Ray matured, his fantasies became increasingly elaborate and violent. He began to sketch detailed, explicit drawings of sadistic scenarios, meticulously capturing scenes of torture and control. These drawings were both an escape and a disturbed foreshadowing of his future actions. Through adolescence, he became adept at concealing his inner world from those around him, outwardly projecting the persona of a shy, mild-mannered young man while secretly nurturing a sinister and dangerous obsession. Ray's formative years, steeped in neglect, violence, and emotional deprivation, laid a dark foundation for the monstrous acts he would later commit. His early experiences profoundly shaped his worldview, embedded with him a twisted understanding of human relationships dominated by control, pain, and fear. These foundational traumas and was burgeoning deviant fantasies inevitably paved the way toward a horrific future. So this is like almost the playbook on how to create a fucked up human being.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm curious where he got those magazines. Do you think it was from his grandfather? You think his yeah?
I would think.
I mean, if his grandfather was as strict and brutal, and yeah, where do you find that?
Right.
Your local grocery store?
You know what? That would make me laugh. Like, you're sitting there, you got, Bigfoot is found. Oh, Loch Ness is real. Oh, look. Yeah, right, Cosmo. And then, look, I like to get chained up and choked. You know, obviously it's more severe than that, but that's the only thing that popped in my head because I'm not as sadistic as people may think.
You vanilla.
You vanilla.
You know what? Sometimes I feel that way. So following high school, David Parker Ray enlisted in the U.S. Army, likely in an attempt to escape the suffocating confines of his troubled upbringing and find some semblance of structure. While details of his military service remain scarce, it is known that he served as a general mechanic, a role that would later prove instrumental in the creation of his torture chamber. Ray's time in the military was relatively uneventful on the surface. He never saw combat and didn't rise above the ranks. But the discipline and technical skills he acquired would soon be redirected toward far darker purposes. While stationed at various military bases, Ray began to experiment more deeply with his fantasies. During this time, he further explored the fringes of sexual deviance, frequenting underground pornography and BDSM circles. He kept his public persona mild and socially functional, but privately he harbored an increasing obsession with control and domination. This period marked a turning point where his fantasies became more than idle thoughts. They began to form the blueprint of future real-life scenarios. After his discharge, Ray turned to New Mexico and settled into a pattern of drifting between jobs. He worked primarily as a mechanic, sometimes for the state, sometimes as a contractor. Those who encountered him professionally described him as quiet, capable, and reliable. It was a facade he wore well. Behind closed doors, however, his home life told a different story. He was married and divorced multiple times, 4 in total. Each relationship strained or destroyed by his controlling, manipulative, and increasingly unstable behavior. Ray also had children, including a daughter, Jessie Ray, who would later become entangled in his crimes. His personal relationships were marked by secrecy and control, often ending abruptly when partners found his behavior too disturbing or demanding. All right, I can't let this go by. So he is David Parker. Oh, no, never mind. That's the last name. Oh, I thought Jessie Ray I thought the Ray part was her middle name too. My bad. All right. So during this time, Ray began assembling what would become his infamous toy box. He started collecting tools and devices that catered to his sadistic fantasies, storing them methodically and adding to his arsenal over time. He read medical journals, engineering manuals, and sexual psychology texts, anything that could inform or improve his techniques for physical and psychological domination. This period of Ray's life was the calm before the storm. Outwardly, he appeared to be simple, if eccentric man with mechanical skills and a penchant for solitude. But in reality, he was constructing a calculated, deliberate plan, one that would culminate in one of the most horrifying serial crimes in American history. So what do you think? Happy ending?
Yep, definitely.
I'm not seeing rainbows and butterflies at the end of this story.
Oh, no? Oh.
No.
Wow, we have 2 different visions.
I thought we were talking about a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
Another
this was
Disney princess movie.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Disney princess?
Pocahontas.
Lynette?
Sleeping Beauty, Princess Aurora.
Mine is... Is Sleeping Beauty the one with the dwarfs?
No, that's Snow White.
Oh, then mine is Snow White. So, yeah.
Did
All
I
right.
ever tell you the story when I met Sleeping Beauty?
No, but please go on.
So I don't know if you knew this, but I did an internship down at Disney.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So I was down at the Magic Kingdom, and I worked in Magic Kingdom strollers where I stacked and unstacked about 10,000 strollers a day.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
I was unskilled, and you trained me. I was forgotten, and you reached out to me.
I was fatherless, and you nurtured me.
I was broken, and you mended me.
As Jesus says, whatever you do for the least of these, you do unto me. Support a child in his name through Compassion International at compassion.com/unto me.
Pacifico is a Mexican lager brewed to be discovered. It's like fresh tracks on a powder day. Like that uncharted trail a stone's throw away. Like the perfect wave on a sunny day. Pacifico. Find your own way. 21 plus. Drink responsibly. Imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Systane Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
It was great. No. Well, I was on break and in walks Princess Aurora and I'm like fangirling.
Oh my God.
I'm like starstruck and she's eating a salad or I don't know what she's eating, but when she's done, she turns and looks at me and she's like, "Do I have anything in my teeth?" And I'm like, "Princesses don't get food stuck in their teeth." And then I felt stupid and I walked out the door because I was mortified.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
That's too funny.
That's my first awkward celebrity encounter.
Holly was like, "How old is this lady?"
The magic was still real and it wasn't.
Jeez. So
I mean, Mickey making out with Peter Pan in the hall didn't ruin it for me, but
were they same sex?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's so hot. So Missy and mine, our first vacation was to Disney. So we went, we spent I think 5 days down there. And we were walking around and I wasn't paying attention to where I was walking. And I thought I got shouldered really hard. It turned me sideways. And you guys know I'm a big guy. I don't get turned sideways very easily. So I got shouldered and I turned and with a cocked fist. I'm like, I'm hitting whoever the fuck did that. Yeah, it turns out that I ran into a corner of a door. Missy was dying laughing.
I can just picture her on the floor laughing.
I'm sitting there and I'm I'm talking to her, so I'm looking, away from, and I just got, I went from 0 to 100 back to 0 again.
Walk away quickly.
Right.
Look stupid.
Pretty much. All right. So nestled deep within the sun-scorched desert of Elephant Butte, New Mexico, sat an unassuming white trailer, sun-bleached, dust-covered, and utterly forgettable to the casual passerby. But inside, beyond the locked door and thick insulation, existed something out of the most depraved nightmares. David Parker Ray called it his toy box. What it truly was, a meticulously engineered torture chamber, a hellish lair where pain was orchestrated like a symphony. This trailer was Ray's masterpiece of horror. Soundproof walls, sealed with screams within, muffling cries that would have frozen the body of anyone who heard them. The centerpiece was a gynecological examination chair, bolted to the floor and surrounded by shackles, pulleys, and restraints. Its cold metal stirrups jutted out like skeletal hands, waiting to clamp down on victims rendered helpless by drugs and fear. Above the chair hung a large mirror mounted to the ceiling, ensuring that the victims were forced to witness their own suffering. Every flinch, every tear, every contortion of agony reflected back at them in grotesque detail. It was not just physical torture, it was psychological warfare. Ray wanted them to feel exposed, dehumanized, and utterly broken. The walls were lined with surgical instruments and homemade devices. Clamps, hooks, whips, and electrical shock machines designed to cause maximum pain without death. He kept a meticulously labeled collection of sex toys modified for sadistic use. Diagrams and anatomical charts adorned the trailer's interior, as if part of some deranged classroom where Ray fancied himself both instructor and executioner. The toy box was not thrown together, it was assembled over years, perhaps decades, with obsessive care. Ray had studied pain, control, and manipulation as if it were a science. Every bolt, every restraint, every tool had a purpose. It was not chaos, it was order, evil perfected. Here, in this sterile house of horrors, David Parker Ray enacted the vile fantasies born from a childhood of violence and a lifetime of repression. And it was here, behind these locked doors, that countless women were subjected to unspeakable acts, each one entering a place from which only a few would ever escape, physically or mentally intact. This is horrible.
Well, maybe I'll say it later, but I don't know.
Okay.
When Yeah, we'll come back to it.
All right, put a pin in that.
This is horrible.
Okay.
Put a pin in that.
Put a pin in it like David Parker Ray did. To enter the toy box... Too soon?
Too soon.
To enter the toy box was to cross the threshold into hell. Victims didn't awaken from their drugged stupor to find the mercy of rescue or the comfort of a dream. They awoke bound in cold, unrelenting metal, blinded by fluorescent light, the smell of latex, and rust thick in the air. The buzz of electricity hummed behind the walls, a constant reminder that something sinister was always charging in the shadows. Ray's preferred methods of torture were precise, prolonged, and deeply personal. Victims were stripped bare not only of their clothing, but of their humanity. They were immobilized in the gynecological chair, their legs bound in stirrups, arms outstretched and restrained above them, like specimens under examination. But there was no medical care here, only sadism masked as procedure. Electric shocks were administered to the most sensitive parts of the body with cattle prods and jury-rigged stimulators. Hypodermic needles were inserted into fingernails and into tender flesh. Sharp implements explored areas that should have... I'm sorry, I can't read. Sharp implements explored areas that should never have known pain. Hooks pierced skin. Objects were inserted, twisted, and used until tissue tore. Bleeding wasn't the goal. Agony was. Ray was methodical. He often recorded his sessions, not only for personal pleasure, but to relive the experience, to dissect it and study the fear the way a scientist might analyze an experiment. His voice would remain calm throughout the horrors, offering reassurances laced with mockery, telling his victims they were doing well, that this would only last a little longer if they behaved. The psychological games were just as horrific as the physical ones. Victims were blindfolded for days, deprived of food, water, or sleep. They were told repeatedly that they would be kept forever or killed and discarded in the desert. Some were forced to watch others being tortured or were made to participate. Many were so heavily drugged that when released or discarded, they remembered only flashes. The sound of chains, the glint of steel, the searing burn of a shock. But perhaps the most chilling element was the cassette tape. When victims awoke, groggy and terrified, they were greeted not by a human face, but by the sound of Ray's calm, clinical voice playing from a speaker. He recorded over an hour-long tapes that would play for each of his victims. In this, he explained in graphic detail that they were about to endure. He referred to himself in the third person. He described the process of domination, the pain, the rules they must follow to survive. It wasn't just a message. It was a psychological assault meant to strip them of identity, hope, and resistance. And he played this tape on loop over and over and over. That unfeeling monologue repeating, setting the stage for terror before Ray ever laid a hand on them. It spoke of compliance, punishment, obedience. It described in grisly detail that they would endure and left nothing to the imagination. For many, hearing that voice was the beginning of the unraveling, a gateway into a living nightmare from which they were unlikely to ever wake. So...
Do you think
Mm-hmm.
that the creators of Saw got their idea from this?
Maybe.
Because obviously when people awaken, like, the whatever room that they put them in, there's a video or whatever, a voice recording of the guy from Saw saying, "This is a game.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out how to get yourself out of here." And then it's all torture stuff, basically. So it's very like, just like the general idea behind it is similar. So I'm kind of curious if they got that idea from that.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense, no?
You would think, yeah.
Lynette, thoughts?
But I mean, trying to remember the movie Saw, I try to put it out of my memory. So
It's like once the cassette or like the video TV play or whatever, the first thing he says, like, "Do you want to play a game?"
Mm-hmm. That's
And
with
then-
like that little jokery doll
Thing on the little,
right?
like, tricycle?
Little puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do movies. With nightmares.
I think.
Then Sleeping Beauty.
All right, so I found a transcript of it. So I'm going to read maybe a couple of paragraphs just so we can get an idea what these women went through when they first awoke in the toy box. Hello there, bitch. Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrists and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You are disoriented and scared too, I would imagine. Perfectly normal under the circumstances. For a little while at least, you need to get your shit together and listen to this tape. It is very relevant to your situation. I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped and what's going to happen to you and how long you'll be here. I don't know the details of your capture because this tape is being created July 23rd, 1993 as a general advisory tape for future female captives. The information I'm going to give you is based on my experience dealing with captives over a period of several years. If at a future date there are any major changes in our procedures, the tape will be upgraded. Well, that's kind of him, don't you think?
Lovely.
Now,
Like up-to-date information.
yeah, right? It's like a training manual. Like, oh, let's update it now. Now you are obviously here against your will, totally helpless, don't know where you're at, don't know what's going to happen to you. You're very scared or very pissed off. I'm sure that you've already tried to get your wrists and ankles loose, and no, you can't. Now you're just waiting to see what's going to happen next. You probably think you're going to be raped, and you're fucking sure right about that. Our primary interest is in what you've got between your legs. You'll be raped thoroughly and repeatedly in every hole you've got. Because basically, you've been snatched and brought here for us to train and use as a sex slave. Sound kind of far out? Well, I suppose it is to the uninitiated, but we do it all the time. It's going to take a lot of adjustment on your part, and you're not going to like it a fucking bit. But I don't give a big rat's ass about that. It's not like you're going to have any choice about the matter. You've been taken by force, and you're going to be kept and used by force. With all this amounts to is that you're going to be kept naked and chained up like an animal, to be used and abused anytime we want to, any way that we want to. And you might as well start getting used to it, because you're going to be kept here and used until such times as we get tired of fucking around with you. And we will eventually, in a month or 2, maybe 3. It's no big deal. My lady friend and I have been keeping sex slaves for years. We both have kinky hang-ups involving rape, dungeon games, etc. We found that it is extremely convenient to keep 1 or 2 female captives available constantly to satisfy our particular needs. All right, I'm going to stop there because that's just fucking
Yes, please do.
horrible. Yeah. That's probably the worst thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, I listened to the audio.
Yeah.
For an hour, and it is so violent and beyond disturbing. What I was going to say earlier is people talk about serial killers and being terrible people, but he leaves his victims alive, which is
like
I
a
think,
whole
a
new
far
level.
worse crime. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's the saying? There are far worse things than death. Like, this is one of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's just all that mental game too of him just explaining it and these girls freaking out because they know they can't escape.
Yeah. I mean, if it's,
they're stuck.
yeah, if it's played on loop for however long he leaves it on loop for, I mean, that's unfucking believable.
And you don't know when he's coming for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The scariest thing is the unknown, right?
Yep.
Man, that's really fucking, I can't imagine. All right, so the faces of David Parker Ray's victims are the echoes of suffering. Women who stepped unwillingly into his world and were plunged into a waking nightmare. Each had a name, a life, a story before encountering the man whose sadistic desires knew no boundary. And within the walls of the toy box, each became a vessel of his unspeakable cruelty. Among the most well-known was Cynthia Vigil, a 22-year-old sex worker from Albuquerque. She was lured into Ray's trap in March 1999, handcuffed under false pretenses by Ray posing as an undercover cop. What followed was 3 days of relentless, calculated torment. Cynthia was bound in the gynecological chair, subjected to electrical shocks on her genitalia, raped with foreign objects, gagged and blindfolded for hours at a time. Ray took pleasure in stripping her of autonomy, her screams swallowed by the trailer's soundproof walls. The recording that played on a loop instructed her how to behave, told her what was coming, and robbed her of any hope. Her hands were often bound above her head, her legs spread wide in cold steel, as Ray and his accomplice Cindy Hendy violated her body again and again. But Cynthia was a fighter. On the third day, when Ray was away at work and Hendy fumbled with her tasks, Cynthia saw a chance. Hendy left keys unattended. With bleeding wrists and trembling fingers, Cynthia unlocked herself, grabbed an ice pick, and stabbed Hendy before fleeing into the sunlight. Naked, except for the iron slave collar bolted around her neck, she ran to a nearby mobile home, where the shocked resident called the police. Her escape cracked open a case of horrors beyond comprehension. Kelly Garrett, another survivor, had been abducted in 1996. She'd had a fight with her husband and went out with friends to blow off some steam. Jessie Ray, David's daughter, knew her, and that familiarity lured Kelly into trusting her. But Jessie spiked her drink. When Kelly awoke, she was naked and restrained inside the toy box. She, too, endured days of sexual assault and torture. Needles, clamps, and a relentless barrage of torment left her scarred in ways the body couldn't fully reveal. Kelly was eventually drugged and dumped near a roadside, alive but disoriented. She tried to piece together the fragments of her memories, but the drugs Ray used, often a cocktail of barbiturates and hallucinogens, made her story a broken mirror. It wasn't until after Cynthia's escape that Kelly began to realize the nightmare she'd survived was real. Then there was Angelica Montano, a friend of Ray's. She was invited into his home for coffee, only to be tied down and tortured for days. When Ray grew tired of her, she was released near a highway, wandering, dazed and injured. She told her story to police, but her tale seemed too extreme to be believed, and it was brushed aside. The pain in her eyes wasn't enough to shake the system into action. You know, that shit fucking pisses me off. You know?
Like the cops don't believe.
Yeah. Like, why would a woman a woman or anybody else make something like that up? That fucking gets under my skin. All right, sorry. And there were others. Women on videotapes found in the trailer, some unconscious, others screaming and pleading, their identities never confirmed. One clip showed a woman hanging upside down, moaning through a gag, her body covered in bruises. Another showed Ray instructing a victim to thank him for her pain. To call it theater would be too clean. It was something else, deliberate, practiced evil, a ritual of suffering. Marie Parker was one victim who never returned. Witnesses say she was abducted and tortured in front of Dennis Roy Yancey, one of Ray's accomplices. Ray allegedly forced Yancey to strangle her with a rope while he watched. Marie's body was never found. Yancey later claimed to have buried her near Elephant Butte Lake. But no remains had been recovered. Her name became a whisper in the wind, one of many presumed murdered but lost in the sand. All right, can I make a comment? What the hell is up with these people's names? We have Cindy Hendy, Dennis Roy Yancey. Like, it sounds like fucking Muppets, doesn't it?
Not
Like,
as stupid as Frank.
yeah, well, that's true. That's true. I'm just saying, like,
If
these
I'm
are.
being Frank.
Well, I mean, can I be frank with you?
You already are.
All right, good.
Yeah, they sounds.
You know what's interesting? So a podcast I listened to noticed that like a lot of serial killers are 3 names.
I don't think there are 3 names. I think for whatever reason, the media uses all 3 of their names.
It's just it's just funny. It's like John Wayne Gacy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got
David Ray
Dennis
Parker.
Roy Yancey, one of the accomplices of
Yeah.
the serial killer. Like,
Well, you know what?
it's always 3 names.
To put your minds at ease, I don't have a middle name, so I can't be a serial killer.
No, according to Missy, you do.
That's
It's
so good.
It's Francesco, no name.
No middle name Paoletti. Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't have a middle name, so you guys won't have to worry about me anymore.
That's exactly what a serial killer would say.
All right. Ray kept extensive notes documenting the torture methods he used on each woman. His journals listed dates, times, and reactions. He treated pain like a study. What made them scream, what broke them down the fastest, which tools caused the most psychological damage without immediate death. He was a sadist, not a scientist, in one, building his legacy on the shattered bodies and minds of those he held captive. To read the details is to risk descending into his mind, but to ignore them is to forget the women who suffered. The women who suffered. In those 300 pages of meticulous handwriting, David Parker Ray bragged about over 40 victims. The evidence, videos, drawings, instruments suggested there could be even more. But without bodies, without survivors, their fates remained buried in silence. Once David Parker Ray had grown bored and tired with his victims, he would drug them heavily with high doses of hallucinogenic drugs, attempt to brainwash them into forgetting the trauma inflicted upon them, and turn them loose back into the world. Part of his audio tape recording played for each of his victims has him stating the following. Now I'm sure that you're a great little piece of ass, and you're going to be a lot of fun to play with. But I will get tired of you eventually. If I killed every bitch that we kidnapped, they'd be bodies strung all over the country. And besides, I don't like killing a girl unless it's absolutely necessary. So I've devised a safe alternate method of disposal. I had plenty of bitches to practice on over the years, so I've pretty well got it down pat. And I enjoy doing it. I get off on mind games. After we get completely through with you, you're going to be drugged up real heavy with a combination of sodium pentothal and phenobarbital. They are both hypnotic drugs. Okay, thanks. They are both hypnotic drugs that will make you extremely susceptible to hypnosis, auto-hypnosis, and hypnotic suggestion. You're going to be kept drugged a couple of days while I play with your mind. By the time I get through brainwashing you, you're not going to remember a fucking thing about this little adventure. You won't remember this place, us, or what has happened to you. There won't be any DNA evidence because you'll be bathed and both holes between your legs will be thoroughly flushed out. You'll be dressed, sedated, and turned loose on some country road, bruised, sore all over, but nothing that won't heal up in a week or two. The thought of being brainwashed may not be appealing to you, but we've been doing it a long time and it works. And it's the lesser of two evils. I'm sure that you would prefer that in lieu of being strangled or having your throat cut. That is so fucked up. Like, I can't.
The sense in which he delivered the message is just like a normal conversation.
Right.
Right.
It's chilling.
Yeah, like I would never think.
He sees no wrong.
What's that?
Like he sees no wrong.
No. And I would never think of using those words in that order ever. Like, it's so crazy. Like he's using words to basically hit a nerve with every sentence. He just gets worse and worse the more he talks.
Yeah. It's the psychological thrill of it all.
Right.
The manipulation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. All right. Each victim entered the toy box as a person. Ray's goal was to leave them less than that. Hollowed, terrorized, compliant. Some escaped, some were discarded, others vanished. All were transformed by the hell they waited inside those soundproofed walls. David Parker Ray didn't just hurt people, he erased them, piece by piece, from the inside out. And he did it with a cold precision that still chills even the most seasoned investigators. David Parker Ray did not operate in solitude. He built a sickening network of accomplices who helped him abduct, torture, and in some cases dispose of his victims. Their participation turned isolated horror into a coordinated operation, one fueled by manipulation, shared depravity, and a chilling absence of conscience. His closest partner in crime was Cindy Hendy, a woman who came to New Mexico fleeing a criminal past in Washington state. Hendy found more than a fresh start. She found a soulmate in sadism. She met Ray while working as an administrative assistant at the local state park and soon moved in with him. Hendy quickly became an active participant in the crimes, restraining victims, helping with drug administration, and even taking part in the torture. She was as twisted as Ray himself, gleefully joining in the degradation of the women brought into the toy box. Hendy was present during Cynthia Vigil's captivity and directly responsible for her temporary restraint when Ray was away. She would later testify against in exchange for a reduced sentence. Like, this is crazy that a woman would do this, no? Or be part of it.
And it's really fubbed up that police and investigators would offer her a deal like that.
I agree with you.
They're trying to get the more evil of the two.
Yeah, but as the story goes on, she was very much a willing participant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very sadistic, but I think they were more after him than after her.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Lynette, but at the same time, how are we going to get him? Like, he's the bigger of the two fish, you know? Like, I get that she was just as fucked up, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer to that either, now that I keep thinking about it. You know, it's like using the drug dealer to get to the, you know, the next guy up. Right. And then using that guy to get to the next guy up. Like, you want to get to the head? I mean, I don't know. So then there was Jessie Ray, David's daughter, perhaps the most disturbing of all his accomplices. Jessie helped lure women into her father's grip, most notably Kelly Garrett, whom she drugged before delivering her into the toy box. Jessie's role in these crimes suggests that she was not merely coerced, but a willing and aware participant. Her involvement transformed the case from one of a lone predator to something even more unsettling, a family of predators, operating together to trap and torture their prey. Dennis Roy Yancey was another key player. He confessed to murdering Marie Parker under Ray's command. Yancey claimed Ray forced him to strangle the woman while Ray watched, arms crossed, with clinical fascination. Though Yancey later led investigators to where he believed her body was buried, no remains were ever recovered. His conviction and partial cooperation helped flesh out the true scope of Ray's circle of collaborators. The presence of these accomplices made Ray even more dangerous. He had not only the tools and the place, but the people necessary to help him carry out prolonged acts of torture and cover them up. They helped transport victims, clean the scenes, and dispose of evidence. In many ways, they were made unstoppable for a time. Meanwhile, across the region, women were disappearing. Reports trickled into police departments across New Mexico, particularly around Truth or Consequences and Elephant Butte. But these reports were often met with indifference. Many of the missing were transient, involved in sex work, or living on the margins of society. Police departments, understaffed and untrained in serial offender profiling, were quick to file them as runaways, addicts, or simply lost in the desert. God, that so fucking pisses me off.
You know what also pisses me off? The city called Truth and Consequences. Back when I was working, it was like when you had to code our system to be able to fit the characters of a city, you needed like 10,000 characters for a city name like that. Like, who teaches their kid, here's your address, you live in Truth and Consequences, New Mexico? Sorry.
No, that's fine. That was a good distraction. So some women had stories to tell, but they weren't believed. Angelica Montano had gone to the police before Ray released her, disoriented and bloodied. But her claims were dismissed as implausible. Others were released so drugged that they could barely remember their names, let alone articulate the horrors they had endured. And those who weren't released, those whose screams died in the soundproofed walls of that white trailer, were simply marked as missing. Their families hung fading photos on bulletin boards and telephone poles. Their names were whispered in the bars, scribbled on flyers, but never truly investigated with the urgency they deserved. It wasn't until Cynthia Vigil's escape that the reality of what had been happening in Elephant Butte became impossible to ignore. Only then did law enforcement realize that the region had been hiding a predator for years, protected by disbelief, oversight, and accomplices who shared in the cruelty. Even after Ray's arrest,
Ooh, Gecko, I just love being able to file a claim in under 2 minutes with the Geico app. Could you sign it?
Sign what? The app? Yeah, sure.
Oh, it rubbed off the screen when I touched it. Could you sign it again?
Anything to help, I suppose.
Get more than just savings. Get more with Geico.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
I was forgotten, and you reached out to me.
As Jesus says, whatever you do for the least of these, you do unto me. Support a child in his name through Compassion International at compassion.com/unto me.
If you're sleeping hot and sweaty, it's impossible to get a good night's rest. And if your solutions are blasting the AC high all summer and doing constant pillow flips, you've got to check out Coop Sleep Goods. Coop combines advanced cooling technology and personalized comfort to create pillows that help hot sleepers stay sweat-free all summer. The fabrics are breathable and cool to the touch, so you feel an instant chill the moment you lay down. Designed for 50% more breathability, the innovative fill helps you sleep cooler and more comfortably. They also have Tencel sheets that are naturally cooling, lightweight, and feel buttery soft on your skin. If it's not your coolest sleep ever, return it with no questions asked during their 100-night Sleep Better Guarantee. And right now, you can get 20% off your first order. Visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy to redeem your offer. That's COOP, sleepgoods.com/comedy.
Investigators scoured his journals, videotapes, and maps, looking for clues to other victims. They excavated sites around Elephant Butte Lake, combed through national databases of missing persons, and tried to match faces from tapes to real names. To this day, many remain unidentified, ghosts of a past buried under sand, silence, and systemic failure. What made David Parker Ray so uniquely terrifying was not just his capacity for evil, but his ability to enlist others in it. He created a culture of horror, with roles for everyone willing to look the other way or enjoy the suffering. The toy box was never just a room. It was a world. And in that world, monsters didn't hide. They worked together. So, I have a question. Don't you think that somebody should be held accountable for not following up on any of this during that time?
That's why I always thought, like, it's not just with this one, it's with so many other true crime stories out there that, like, you hear them going to the police at the beginning, but they do nothing. And then look what happens. Either the person dies, they get, like, tortured, or they get kidnapped or something. And it's like, if you would listen to them the first time and take it seriously, even just not even, like, just, like, put a report in saying this stuff is happening. Something.
No, I agree.
But nothing, it always frustrates me.
Agreed. So, yeah, it is just beyond ridiculous on how no one gets held accountable for it. You know, like, you would think somebody would get fired. You know, I mean, this is also probably, like, worthy of jail time. I mean, how many people went missing, were tortured after the fact that the one girl told them and they just thought she was nuts and didn't follow up on anything? It's so crazy.
I just wonder, how did they not see the fear in her eyes being like, okay, either she's on something or something's really going on. How about let's figure this out to see, instead of just ignoring it and assuming.
That's too easy. They're sex workers and transient people. No one gives a shit about them.
And that's the other thing that frustrates me. It's like, just because they're not in a typical 8 to 5, 9 to 5 work day does not mean anything.
I agree. A human life is still a human life, no matter what they do or how they live. Like, you got to respect them.
It's frustrating. It's like when I listen to documentaries, watch them or whatever, you never like you said, you don't hear what happens to the like officials that ignore it, that don't do anything about it. You never hear what happened to them, so you just hear about it and then just keep going.
Right. All right. So Cynthia Vigil's escape on March 22nd, 1999, shattered the silence that had shielded David Parker Ray for decades. Bleeding, naked, and wearing nothing but a metal slave collar and a padlocked chain, she burst into a nearby mobile home after stabbing Cindy Hendy with an ice pick. Her cries for help were frantic, her terror undeniable, and finally someone listened. The police were summoned, and within hours, the unassuming trailer at 513 Bass Road in Elephant Butte became ground zero for one of the most shocking criminal investigations in American history. When officers entered the toy box, they weren't prepared for what they found. The sight was macabre, a gynecological chair surrounded by ropes, chains, surgical instruments, whips, and clamps. There were drawings of nude women in bondage, video cameras mounted to record every session, and a chilling audio cassette ready to be played for new victims. Bloodstains and biological evidence added to the horror. It was a house of torture, built not in some shadowy basement, but in broad daylight, hidden only by its banality. As investigators cataloged the contents of the trailer, they uncovered Ray's personal journals. Hundreds of pages detailing dates, names, and methods of torture. They found more than 100 videotapes, some showing unconscious women being brutalized. Many of the victims on tape were never identified. Ray, Hendy, and Jesse Ray were quickly arrested, and Cindy Hendy began to talk. Her confessions helped law enforcement piece together the breadth of Ray's activities, including murders that had gone unpunished and assaults that had gone unreported. She led authorities to sites where bodies might have been buried, though many searches turned up nothing. The desert, it seemed, had kept his secrets well. The FBI and state investigators launched a massive effort to identify other victims. They cross-referenced missing persons reports, examined dental records, and aired segments on national television hoping for tips. Former victims like Kelly Garrett came forward after seeing clips in the news, slowly beginning to reconstruct the broken memories of their ordeals. The capture of David Parker Ray wasn't the end of the nightmare. It was only the beginning of uncovering the scale of it. Investigators would spend years combing through evidence, speaking with survivors, and following every lead. But even today, many of the women who entered the toy box were never found. Some names remain unknown, only to Ray and the desert that swallowed them. I feel really bad for the families.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, just because these people were not in the mainstream of society, you know, they're transients, you know, whatever you want to catalog.
Families.
Yeah, I mean, however you want to catalog them, they're still goddamn fucking human people, you know? Like, they deserve the respect as any one of us. Just because they had hard times and succumbed to whatever demons they were fighting doesn't mean that they deserve this and that authorities shouldn't put the same effort in there than looking for someone like John Benet Ramsey. You know?
All that, and, not all of his victims were down and outers, if you want to call it that. So in some of his, or in the audio that he plays, he goes into detail on how he picked most of his victims, and that he was looking for virgins, young women. In some cases, that there was one young man, but they were looking for, in his words, someone who was clean and free from any disease.
Gotcha.
So he was targeting just Also
The
the
innocent.
naive and the innocent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, I really can't believe something like this happened, in the 90s. Like,
It doesn't sound like this could be real.
right. I mean, that's fucking nuts.
And the fact that the cops all thought that too, which is why they didn't believe, because it was so horrific that they didn't believe these women who did come forward.
Right.
And then they had to relive it and tell the stories
Again and again and again.
like what they could remember. But yeah.
Yeah, they constantly relive it, because I'm sure there was multiple interviews with the police to get their statements. Then probably in court, they had to relive it. And then if they did any interviews, they had to relive it there as well. I mean, they're constantly...
The media was
right.
So loving and caring.
Oh, yeah. They really care about people.
Yeah. On all the lurid details.
All right.
Somebody loses a child and you'll get a microphone in your face. How do you feel?
Right.
Like,
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Can you guess? Can
Get
you
outta
guess?
here. And then you're also judged as a family. Are you grieving enough? Do you look distraught enough? Like,
yeah, and they
it's
judge
just-
you. Like, how are you going to know how someone reacts? Like, you can react totally different from person A and person B.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as mourning. Everyone mourns differently. And with any loss or traumatic experience, everyone is going to act differently based on their psychology. Ugh.
People.
People
suck.
The court of public opinion is probably worse than actually going through a lawful court,
And I think it's just getting worse and worse and worse.
I agree.
As we get number and number and number to...
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, like, on like news stories, like they never say they'll refer to people who have been traumatized by violent crimes as victims. Let's use their names or just call them a person, because now we're putting a tag on them, which dehumanizes them, in my opinion. When you say a victim,
there's a detachment from it.
Instead of saying survivor, they're saying victim. When survivor is more of that powerful word.
right? They call it a murderer. Right? It's a murderer. No, it's a fucking person that's fucked up in the head. So yeah, you're right, Lena. It does dehumanize everyone. I mean, whoever they're talking about, they have terms for everybody.
And there also creates this separation of them, that happened to them, and that happened over there.
Mm-hmm.
The likelihood that something like that could happen to me because I'm not a victim. I'm not a,
Right. I don't live over there.
It creates this wall of separation between the reality of it all.
Right. And it almost puts blame on the victim. It's like, well, like, for example,
how did you get yourself in that situation?
Exactly.
What were you wearing? What were you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just move?
Why didn't you just run away? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
Agreed.
didn't you do something?
Agreed. It takes victim blaming into such an underlying thought process that it removes our true feelings from the scenario. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna have to re-listen to that. I don't know.
Yeah, please do, and send me a memo when you do.
I'd be like, can you go edit that? Because I have no idea what you just said.
Yeah, I don't either. I just talk.
No one ever does.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just nod my head and smile.
That's on most things that most people say to you, not just me. All right, so the trials of David Parker Ray were a twisted echo of the horrors he'd inflicted. They unfolded slowly, weighed down by the complexity of the crimes, the trauma of the survivors, and the absence of physical bodies for many of the presumed victims. Prosecutors hit a mountain of evidence, videotapes, journals, photographs, and the damning testimony of accomplices, but presenting it in a way that wouldn't re-traumatize survivors or confuse jurors was no easy task. Ray initially faced dozens of charges, including kidnapping, sexual assault, and conspiracy to commit murder. The legal process began with separate trials for each known victim, beginning with Cynthia Vigil, whose harrowing escape had triggered the investigation. Vigil testified in detail about her ordeal, maintaining composure as she recalled the instruments of torture, the psychological torment, and the moment she saw a sliver of hope and fought for her life. Ray's daughter, Jessie Ray, was also tried and convicted for her role in aiding the kidnapping and torture of Kelly Garrett. She received a lighter sentence, but her involvement as daughter enabling her father's sadism added a deeply unsettling element to the proceedings. The most frustrating part of the trial was that despite all evidence, Ray was never charged with murder. Without bodies, prosecutors couldn't convince a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. They focused instead on securing convictions that would ensure he never walked free again. In 2001, rather than face multiple trials, David Parker Ray agreed to a plea bargain. He was sentenced to 224 years in prison for his crimes. That's amazing. Like, I don't understand why you can't just say life in prison without parole instead of like assigning a number to this.
Like, I always love when, like, in courts, when they just like, oh, there's consecutive life sentences. It's just say for life.
Yeah, to be served out concurrently.
Yeah, like, that makes no. So you want them to die and then make them come alive again so they can do the next life sentence and then die and then.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all.
I think they're just trying to say this victim gets their justice and he gets 25 years for this and he gets 30 years for this victim. And
maybe
I get what you're saying, but I wonder if they do it that way to give some sort of consolation to the family or the survivors.
Right, or maybe even
they could just say like he's guilty for all of these different like all this person for what they did. And that's, with that the case, he's in prison for life and will never get out.
Yeah.
Instead of just being 10 years for this.
Yeah, and also
that just death penalty. Why are we paying to keep people like this alive?
Oh, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But like, I guess I understand now what you guys are saying. It's also setting a legal precedent for the effects of whatever, right? You know, just like this guy got this amount, so it is legal and not unusual. What is it?
It's it's not cruel and unusual.
Cruel and unusual punishment, right? Ugh, so disgusting. So the courtroom saw little remorse from Ray. He remained calm, even smug at times. His effect as cold as the instruments in his trailer. For the victims, with their families, the sentencing brought a measure of justice, but no peace. Too many questions remained unanswered, and too many women were still missing. Justice had spoken, but its voice, like the cries inside the toy box, came far too late for many. Less than a year after sentencing, on May 28, 2002, David Parker Ray succumbed to a heart attack at Lee County Correctional Facility. His death was abrupt and unsatisfying for the victims and families denied justice for unidentified or missing loved ones. Ray's demise left a legacy of unanswered questions, undiscovered bodies, and persistent trauma. Though no bodies were found, Ray was accused by his accomplices of killing several women and was suspected by the police to have murdered as many as 60 women from Arizona and New Mexico while living in Elephant Butte, approximately 7 miles north of Truth or Consequences. Despite Ray's death, investigators continued efforts to identify additional victims and locate remains. His horrific crimes have profoundly impacted the local community and law enforcement, serving as a grim reminder of human depravity and the necessity for vigilance. Ray's case remains haunting, prompting ongoing discussions about victim advocacy, memory trauma, and the resilience required to overcome unimaginable suffering. Well, that was the story, the uplifting story of David Parker Ray and the Toy Box Killer.
And clearly his drug cocktail didn't work. Good thing he's not a pharmacist either.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah, stop finding stories like this, Frank.
Sorry.
I could not sleep for weeks after.
Really?
I'm not kidding you.
I believe you.
So you don't watch scary movies?
No, but this is real. Like, we didn't even get into what he had his dogs do to these women.
Right. I did not want to include that. Even though it happened, I did not really want to include that.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, if you guys want to know, you can do the research yourself out there and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Videos out there. You won't sleep.
No. Please don't look it up. It's disgusting. All right. Any final thoughts, ladies?
Free tacos somewhere?
We need to go find a taco truck.
I like tacos.
Who likes tacos?
I like tacos.
Tacos are life.
Sorry, I had to change the subject to something lighter because I'm disturbed right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we're going to do our next story on rainbows and butterflies and unicorns.
And fairies?
Yep. Mermaids.
Ooh, I like mermaids. They're hot.
Okay, we're not talking about mermaids.
What the fuck?
We're going to say your favorite Disney princess is Ariel because she just swims around in a bra all the time.
So here's a question for you. If you were going to get it on with a mermaid, would you want the top half to be human, bottom half to be fish, or top half to be fish, bottom half to be human?
What? Gross.
What?
Obviously the traditional mermaid.
Oh, is it?
Who wants to make out with a fish?
Well, listen, here's the thing, is I don't know where things are supposed to go on a fish. At least if it was bottom half human, I know what I need to do.
But what are you going to do with
the
the
eyes?
face?
The eyes are on either side of its head. Where are you going to look?
It's the, I mean, I'll just
which
pick.
eye are you going to look at?
I'll just pick the dominant eye and look at that one.
And it won't blink. It's just going to stare at you with its one eye.
I would, yeah. I mean, I would.
Scales everywhere.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, three-eye fish from The Simpsons.
There you go.
Love it. All right. Well, things to make you go, there we go.
Things that keep you up at night.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Well, that concludes this. So, my name is Frank.
My name is Bree.
This is Lynette.
And you've been listening to Fringe
Beyond
Limits.
I was forgotten, and you reached out to me.
As Jesus says, whatever you do for the least of these, you do unto me. Support a child in his name through Compassion International at compassion.com/unto me.
If you're sleeping hot and sweaty, it's impossible to get a good night's rest. And if your solutions are blasting the AC high all summer and doing constant pillow flips, you've got to check out Coop Sleep Goods. Coop combines advanced cooling technology and personalized comfort to create pillows that help hot sleepers stay sweat-free all summer. The fabrics are breathable and cool to the touch, so you feel an instant chill the moment you lay down. Designed for 50% more breathability, the innovative fill helps you sleep cooler and more comfortably. They also have Tencel sheets that are naturally cooling, lightweight, and feel buttery soft on your skin. If it's not your coolest sleep ever, return it with no questions asked during their 100-night Sleep Better guarantee. And right now, you can get 20% off your first order. Visit coopsleepgoods.com/comedy to redeem your offer. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy.